Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good morning, grand rising, wealthy rising, great rising, thankful rising, purposeful rising. Giving all praises to the Most High, for life, health, and strength, and for being here this morning. Huh? On this beautiful Wednesday. It's the hump day, y'all. And it's your favorite icon in the building. And guess what? I'm here to um come through in the next 30 to 45 minutes, 30 to maybe 40, 45 minutes, with another segment from last time I was here, dealing with the six sacred vows of love, respect, and commitment for a black man and woman specifically, but for man and woman in general. I am your favorite icon, the Icon6, and I'm here representing We Are the Circle Network and Circle of the Gods.6, which are two channels that I have here on YouTube. Um, well, we put in work. We come in and we discuss today's topic. We discuss self improvement. We discuss music because I am a music lover. I love music. Now, I don't have copyright authorities to play some of the music that I would love to play over here on YouTube, but I do some of my own things over on an app called Rap Fame. And shout out to Rap Fame for allowing a space that we can come into and utilize tracks. And I do freestyles over there. So sometimes I do freestyles and I bring them here to YouTube. And I may use that as a background for myself, because I've been successfully able to do that with some of the music, that I'm allowed to play. So I want to get back into what I was talking about the last time that we were here. And I thank everybody that came through so far, that took an opportunity to listen to what I had to say, even if it was only for a second or two, or a minute or two. And definitely salute to all of you who stayed the whole way through. Much love for that. Now my voice does carry. It's still early in the morning over here. It is 8:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so there's still people sleeping in the house, you know. So I want to try not to be as, loud as I normally am naturally, because my voice told a little weight. So, but last time I was here, I was talking about the six sacred vows, and I laid some foundational words that I'm gonna do a brief recap on, so that we can get back to where we were, and for all of the extra necessary things that you would need to know from last time, last show, please go back and revisit that show and take a listen. If this one intrigues you a little bit more, go back and listen to the one before this, okay? So that you can get the other information, because I'm not going to be able to go back through every single thing that I said at that particular time. But my foundational words goes as such: integrity, character, obedience, militant, faithful, grounded, reliable, cooperative, trustworthy, alert, humble, respectful, submissive, dependable. Now, these are not three, these are words, um, according to the construct, because these are words that man made, that man gave definition to. And I think that they are beautiful words. They have beautiful meaning, definition that defines, or, you know, shapes, right? That frequency that comes from it. Because integrity is a word that people use a lot. There's no integrity. It's not sound, okay? No integrity, no moral standing, no principle standing, no integrity, just savage character. that which people can see in your motion, and whatever your motion is a reflection of your mind, your character. What kind of character are you? Are you a positive character, negative character, humble character? What's in your character? What things make up you, make up your representative? Because when we come before each other, that's what people checking to see. Who are you? They're looking to see how you moving. So integrity, character, obedience. What 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 do you bow to? Because we all bow to something. Okay. Hopefully it's the truth, and whatever the truth can expose to us so that we can see if it's good or bad for our life. Okay. Militant. Now, some people take that word militant and would snatch it all the way out of character. They'll go to thinking about people with guns and people running around with, doing that particular thing, causing havoc and trouble. No, militant doesn't mean that. Militant means having a soldierly bearing about yourself, a strong constitution. That's why I respect our military, our men and women. Now, the training and the conditioning gives a backbone and gives a certain type of a mentality that supports a backbone to have courage. And we need more militant, see, inside of our self community to have a strong resolve about ourselves, to have a will to want to overcome what? Fear. Faithful. Okay. Faith is the substance of things not seen. Hmm? Faithful, meaning you can see past the right now, that you can believe in something down the line that is possible or probable, and you want to work towards that. Faithful to what? Faithful to who? See, these are words that will help us understand our own mentalities and if we're in alignment with things that can take us to a refuge and provide peace for us and security for us. And I truly believe within my own self community that these things help me through so many things and continue and will continue to help me so long as I can focus on them and continue to make them a daily part of my life, my routine. Grounded, meaning you've dug in, you've laid root. If you got a strong root, especially in some fertile soil, you can produce something of great quality. Of great quality. I hope that I'm being heard out here, you know, because I can't hear myself other than what I'm saying through my speakers. I know my green light is moving on my microphone, so I hope everybody be able to hear me. But grounded is just like electricity. If you don't have a good ground on there, some uh, 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 and, electricity can do some very harmful things if you don't have a ground where I can burn some stuff out, short some things out. So we got to be grounded so that when other things come or when pressure is in our life, it doesn't pop our circuit and then we go haywire or we fail and cease to exist in the flesh. Okay. So we want to be grounded. Grounded in what? Sound information. Information that leads to growth and development and life and more life and abundant life and more peace, abundant peace, more security, abundant security. And inside of that groundedness, a network of other grounded people creating a more useful force field for a collective. So all this means something to me. Reliable, meaning that I know if I call on you or if you call on me to do something, you know, that something is gonna have the utmost importance and that it will be carried out. Okay. That you know that if you needed somebody, I can call on him. I can call on her. But most importantly, am I reliable to myself? Do I have enough faith in my own self to take care of things and be responsible for things? And I'm a growing person in that area. I'm not going to lie. Because when you know my story, you'll understand. And again, I tell my story not to make excuses or to seek sympathy from anybody because I don't need sympathy. I just need people to give a listen and actually, give some thought into what I'm saying, do some researches if there's some information that come out to refer you somewhere. Okay. And I'm gonna get through these. And I'm gonna get back to the point of where I last started, and then we're gonna go from there. Cooperative, you know, people cooperate all the time in one thing or another. Some in good, some in bad, some in terrible. Cooperation means that people are working together, taking whatever part that is necessary that they can fulfill, and saying to the object or the subject that we're moving towards or producing that I'm here to work with, not against. And I think more of us need to learn how to do that, especially when we're out in social media and we're working in spaces. We want the people that's listening. We our hope and our prayer uh, is for those to understand, if they can, where we're headed at, or where I'm headed at, if I'm by myself or with a team of people, that we're when we explain that we're here to help, that in things that we say, even if you don't agree necessarily for the reasons that you don't agree, that you won't be a force against something that is intended to be good. Now that don't always work out that way, so we already ready for that. I'm used to that type of stuff. But when you find people who don't want to be cooperative in good things, things that are meant to help our women, our children, our men, our communities, our homes, our society, those are the type of people I want to readily identify so I can try to create some space between us, because I don't want to function in that world. Been there, done that already, and I know what that is. So, and to improve from that, I have learned how to be cooperative. You know what I'm saying? Cooperating with those, moving with those for the greater betterment of all, right? Trustworthy, which can also go back into being reliable. Hmm? To be trustworthy, it's hard to trust. Trust is a very delicate thing, even in definition. But to be trustworthy, you're worthy of the trust, meaning you're putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the work within the self community first, because that's where the work must start, within yourself. If you're not a humble person, and you know humble is a necessary component to be able to have a clear mind and to be able to manage emotions, and you don't want to even delve into that and understand it and apply it, then you're not worthy of trust. You may flip flop. A flip flopper is an unreliable person that's not grounded, that has no faith. Their militancy is used for vain things and destructive things. Character of a beast, no integrity. They don't even cooperate in a way to help build something good, but they'll cooperate with those that ready to tear down something that's meant for good for the people, right? And that means even the ones that's trying to tear it down, you're trying to tear down something that's even meant for good for yourself. That's self-destruction. Alert. That's another thing. When we doing stuff and we know we don't did wrong, you be very alert. When I was committing crimes, I was alert of the police. I knew at any time something could happen. I didn't want it to happen, meaning get caught or get caught up into something, because a lot of things can happen when tension is high, when there are rules and policies that in a system that's being broken. Then there are people out here with mentalities. I can do a lot of things behind this shield and get away with it. And I got to be honest about that. There's been a lot of unalivings by a lot of people, in many different categories. And I know one of them is, you know, the shield. And you know what I'm talking about. And then the untold amount of unalivings amongst ourselves. So we got to be alert out here. We can't even live in a world now like I grew up in back in the day. You know, nobody's leaving their doors open anymore. In certain areas, they may do it if it's small population, everybody know each other. But even that's dangerous because of the pervertedness inside of the minds of people that lack these things that I'm telling you about. These words, these foundational words that I'm using right now. So we must be alert, to be aware, to be on point. If we ain't on point and we're not aware, then a whole lot of stuff can get through. And sometimes when you're not on point and you don't set up the necessary barriers for protection and security, you may let some evil inside of your space that comes to destroy your self community, your family, which are individuals that have self community that you're trying to protect, that there's love that nourishes you. And these next ones, dependable, which can go with reliable, submissive, which can go into, because I know that word submissive, and let me just be very blunt about this. People scared to death of that word submission, to be submissive. When you say that to a woman, first thing coming to her mind because of condition now, that submissive is a bad thing. Yeah. When you apply that to a man, it's a submissive. I don't submit to nothing. But we all submit to something. Trust me. You submit to something, whether good, bad, or terrible. But submission to something that is designed to uplift you, give you a mind to create opportunities for yourself, to see opportunities being created outside of yourself, to lead you to a life that you know you deserve, which is freedom from attack, freedom from people just abusing you. Submission to the truth guides you up out of that, because they say the truth shall set you free, but it has to be a communicative thing with the truth within your own self, and research of that. Whatever those truths are that you can perceive, that's designed to help make you better. Okay. Yeah. And so last time I brought y'all something that I pulled out of my archives from my time in federal prison, 28 plus years in federal prison. Uh, there's so many stories and experiences in those 28 plus years and the years before that, before I went to prison, all of my whole life and things that has happened since 2019. An ongoing story right now, and I'm definitely leaving my digital imprint. I'm creating my book so that 100 years from now, if technology is still rolling and people still have access to the cloud and information, that somebody may stumble across me 100 years from now. And so I can tell you here, if you're hearing this 100 years from now, love you. You are the continual replication of so many before you. And I'm sure people are still scheming and plotting and planning and trying to own people and manipulate people and trying to cut them off from knowledge, using the natural resources, if there is any natural resources left. Because where we're at right now, there is a great race to destroy a lot of things in nature. And the laws of nature is not going to allow it to happen. And man is on a crash collision, destruction of himself and everything around him. No love for the aquatic life, the plant life, the reptilian life, the mammal life, any life. So I hope to those who are still fighting, those who, in whatever climate environment that you may be in or circumstances, do not give up the fight. But it is my prayer also that 100 years from now that y'all are in paradise and that none of this even makes sense, because along the way we were able to figure it on out and get back to the truth and let the kingdom of the creator once again be prevalent throughout the lands and our universe, every galaxy. It's peace and love for sure. So this right here is something that when I was in a better state of mind, not a perfect state of mind, but in a more organized state of mind after my intervention, You know, I sojourned inside of the prison with the Nation of Islam. I would say that. I've sat with the brothers from the Moorish Science Temple, the Hebrew Israelites. I've been around um, the Asatru's. I've been around. The only people that I wasn't really around in prison was the Jewish community. They're a little bit more off to themselves in such ways, and you very rarely seen any of the brothers at that time standing inside of their Hebrewness of that, because that's a Jew is um, a offshoot of what the Hebrews are, and you got some that's parading around as Jews that are not Jews. Okay, and I seen what happened to those of color who tried to participate inside of the prison wall, the federal prison walls, and it's hard because the majority of those who claim to be Jews are Caucasian people or of Caucasian stock. And no blight to none of the Caucasian family members that stand on business and stand on truth. Because I'm not here to let social constructs make colorism something that I'm going to be trying to champion or fight. I think it's a bunch of crap meant to divide us and make us think that we're different. And in my conversations, I'm going to be getting to those things right here on the Circle of Gods.6. That's why when you look at my logo, you see a scale with truth and lies in it. You see the zodiac wheel as well, because all of this plays into the psychology of what's happening to us. And if you got an open mind and if you're willing to let faith, that's why I use one of that word as a pillar word, a foundational word, and let faith take you. If you trust in the God that you say you believe, if you trust in yourself, your own sanity, step across and let's start investigating some of these things that's happening around us and stop lying. And if you know what's happening and you just scared, I understand. This is some frightening stuff, because once you become responsible, it's a declaration that you know what's happening. And especially if you got a mentality to want to do something about it, it makes people nervous when you're trying to bring the collective together up under these foundational words. It changes the narrative. It changes the landscape. We can go from being broken to back to repair families, that is. And even if the family, for instance, I'll give you one. Just say it was a man and he had three sisters that he had been with in his state of promiscuity and living on the level of his animal self, and he made three children, three beautiful children, which is supposed to be a blessing to this world, a replication to keep going on. That in repair, whatever was broken between him and those mothers that left those children in that state, that he can go back and try to repair that. And the woman will be open to receive that. Why? So that the unity and the strength can come back, and that those children can see an example of men and women repaired within themselves, a beacon of strength, so those children can have light in a world that's so dark. See, those of us who are adults, we gotta really, really go back to the drawing board. I really believe that I have. It's a long, hard walk, but if you take on the wings of truth, it'll fly you there quicker. But trust, a word that we use, trustworthiness. The truth is worthy to be trusted if you can perceive it and understand it. So this form is what I created, and it's called the 6 Sacred Vows of Love, Respect, and Commitment from a Black Man and Woman. This was my state of mind. I sat down at my typewriter and I just let the spirit run through my head, and this is what came out. A contract really to myself. This is a contract that I made for myself, and I wanted to share it with other people. If they liked it, cool. If you can apply it, cool. If it's not for you, cool. So last time we was here, I'm gonna pick up on this here and I'm gonna get to the point that we was at. This is the contract. This is the contract. I come now. Well, I, your name, come now, being of sound mind and body, swear on this day, whatever that day, month, and year is, to honor and live up to the vows of commitment put forth now in this contract and or covenant of good faith to myself, family, community, and people. I understand by taking these vows, I am committing myself to a higher standard and purpose in life, that if I should fail to live up to these vows, which are wholly designed to establish an unbreakable bond between Black men and women and children, specifically, and to all men, women, and children in general, and create a more stable environment for our families and communities, I would have failed myself and forfeited my right to be a voice among my peers, family, friends, associates, and community. I further understand that it is a privilege to be allowed to represent to the world a true image of a strong, loving, dedicated, respectful, family oriented, civilized, hardworking, lover of education, and maintainer of life and property. I am as a Black man, and you can check the box, man or woman, or any man or woman in general. I take these vows of my own free will, not being pressured by any man, woman, organization, or government, because I see the benefit or benefits that stand to be gained by participating in a small but significant role in the empowerment of myself, family, and community. My signature and a witness. And a witness. I wanted to share that with somebody that I can say, hey, I'm holding myself to this here, and you're a witness that I did this here. So whenever I'm out of character, and you see me especially, I'm giving you the authority to say, hey, brother, a reminder, that contract, you wrote it. You say you want it's good for other people, so it got to be good for yourself. And that's where it starts. Okay, let's get into it because we are 27 minutes into this here, and I want to get to the next vow. Last time I was here, the first vow, I'll read it real quickly, and then we'll get to vow number 2. And hopefully within this time framework that I have, I'll be able to get to at least 2 of them. And if not, I'm gonna keep doing this until I finish this because it's more to this as well. And other conversations we're gonna be having right here in the Circle of the Gods, point 6, because it's all about self-improvement with me. It's all about the collective for me. First vow, I vow to love, respect, and maintain myself at the highest level of morality within my power. To feed my mind good and positive thoughts and information. To feed my body nutritious foods that will promote good health and provide me with a more healthier and longer life. To feed my spirit the type of righteousness that will allow me to sustain a wealth of rightly guided energy that will bring peace, happiness, and joy, not only to myself, but to those whom I come into contact with. To reflect often on the importance of loving myself first, that I may learn to love others. Vow number 2, I vow to uphold good, wholesome family values, to provide my offspring or any youth that may see or hear me with an example of what it means to be a doer of good deeds rather than a talker of them. To say what I mean and mean what I say. To provide security of well being, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, socially, or economically. To be active in activities that promote strong and respectful community ties. To lead my God, oh, excuse me, to lend my God given talents and gifts to causes that will help establish unbreakable bonds of love and respect between Black men, women, and children specifically, but all men, women, and children generally. Now, I want to just take a moment to just stop and just just dig into that just briefly. A vow to uphold wholesome family values. We live in a world now where we call each other family, but the value system has changed. And if you're not asking why, if you don't even know to ask why that is, if you don't even have this on your brain, then you taking family to mean what it is to you right now. What family looks like is the for those that see the goose or those birds that be together. They're always walking. There be a bunch of them. They be walking in the streets down here. They fly all over the world. These birds do. They fly to the south, to the north, to the east, to the west, depending on their routes and routines, right? But they're together, a group. You'll see the male, you'll see the female, and when they come together and replicate, you'll see the little after the little chicklets hatch, they all be together. Family, moving, eating, grazing, protecting, rolling together. Family. Ain't no cell phones, ain't no sitting in the same house and there's no activities going on. There is no in most cases, in a lot of cases, the masculine and feminine principal who's supposed to be the head of the house really sitting at that kitchen table or wherever they sit in their house and discussing family business and issues and bringing their children into that there and start developing them at an early age. The discipline that used to be there, our children are running rampant. And let me say this here so I can be clear, so we don't just start dumping stuff on our young people, because we have to remember we were young one time too. And if you was rebellious like me for the reasons that you were rebellious, we went through it too. So that's why I understand our young people. I may not agree, just like the elders may not have agreed with me in my rebellious state, but they knew and understood because they were young at some point too. So we have to go through these processes, but we must. I think we should want to. What is a family value? What is family? What is a value? If you can look at your car and do all the things you can do to it, you want to make sure the motor's strong. You want to make sure it got the right gas, the right oil. If you care, if you know your car has some value to you, and if you can afford it. To those of us that can't afford a lot of stuff, we try to make do with what we can get and try to get the best that we can get. But we still understand that the car has value because it get us from point A to point B. Hmm? That we need the car to earn because we have to get to work if it's a job, or get to our businesses if we are entrepreneurs, to move places. So we place value on the car. We want to make sure it got good tires on it. We want to make sure that the oil changes are getting done so the health of the car through servicing it can be preserved as much as possible, because we want to get good use out of it. If we can think that way about a car, why we can't think that way about a family? And that has always been my question. And when it became clear to me inside of that prison that these are the questions that I need to start asking about my own life, that's when the creative breakthrough for me came. Because it became more about me than everybody else. And I really wanted to know why I thought the way that I did and did the things that I did because of those thoughts. And those thoughts are and these other constructed words, decisions and choices. Because of the decisions and choices I made, it took me out of society. It took me away from my children. It took me away from my family, my friends, and any benefit that I could have given with the gifts that God gave me. And He gave me a lot. But I was so lost. I was lost. I had an opportunity to see a family structure for a moment in my life with my mother and my pops, W.D. Johnson, my stepdad. And I don't like to use the word stepdad, but I'm gonna use it because it was a step towards fatherly or masculine energy that me as a young boy needed. And shout out to my biological father. I love you, Pop, because this vehicle that I'm riding in is God's way of saying He authorized you and my mom to come together in that way to physically create this form for me to operate in. And so I had to learn how to even appreciate my biological father because I've always loved him. I always wanted to be around him. Unfortunately, life has its It's limits. I don't fault my father. I don't hold nothing against him. And we've talked about these things. And I've had an opportunity to tell my pops, who actually gave me an opportunity to see a family structure when we were together. Not perfect, but together. My older sister, my younger sister, myself, and my baby brother, which is his father. And I got a chance to see him on Friday at my brother's 50th birthday. And every time I see him, like my heart swell up because he taught me how to tie my shoes. He taught me how to swim. He disciplined me when I was out of order. He gave me my first glimpse, and even though it didn't last as long as I wish it could have, damn, about to get all. I'm thankful for the creator that he gave me a mentality also not to disrespect women with children just because they're out of order. And I didn't know how to take those things at first because as a child, I seen things that just turned me off. I was destined for some greatness, but not knowing that you don't know, and then you're moving off the science of energy that's not conducive to growth and development. You get caught up in ways and currents that leads you down destructive paths, and ultimately for some to death. But the creator spared my life for this very moment, these reasons that I'm here in social media, because I knew I was going to be here. And all of the things that I was doing back there at the time when my mind was getting better. And the spirit of truth also told me you're going to have to open up your life and show people some of the ugliest parts, because some people live in fear. You're trapped in a prison within yourself, and other people use that against you to exploit you. They want you to be afraid because they feel they got something hanging over your head. And I say, you know what? Damn all that. I'm gonna tell it myself. And those things that need to stay between me and the creator, it will stay there. But we're all going through things. The family structure, a strong father, a strong mother, a dedicated mother and father that move off integrity, that got good character, that's obedient to truth, that have that militant quality within themselves to be resolved, soldiers who are very faithful and grounded in that word and truth, reliable, because every time you need them and you call on them, they there. They say God might not come when you want him, but he always on time. You remember that? But sometimes mom and pops and they might not come through exactly when you need to get that little money to go on that field trip, but somehow, some way they make it right on time, because you be thinking I ain't gonna be able to go, they ain't gonna have, and right on time. You don't know the things that your mom and your pop had to do, take an extra job maybe, which may have been more time away from you working. We don't appreciate things like that no more because they don't sold us on this fallacy that if you just get the bag, getting the bag is done what for us. It don't matter how much people get. If getting the bag was gonna make everything better, why isn't everything better? They just question. So I vow to uphold good, wholesome family values. I love my family. And I'm thankful to God that he gave me a greater mind to understand that the greatest love you can have for them, Ron, is to stay out of foolishness, man. So that when events come, if you're able to be there, you can be there for them. If you want to talk to them, you ain't got to be waiting in line in no prison line or them visiting you in some graveyard. We lost too many good people, and we're still losing too many good people. Old, young, it doesn't matter, because the family structure no longer has the same value that it used to have. And you can chronicle these things by coming right here to YouTube and going to the search engine. What was family life back in 1950? People be doing these clips and they put them out there. I be seeing them all the time. Compare, look, this false sense of identity and power. I can be who I want to be and express myself. I got my own bag, and yeah, but your value, you out here, and excuse my language, because I'm gonna say what I'm finna say. We got money, we got the bag, and we on some fuck nigga and pussy whole time. And if you come from where I come from, you know what a pussy hoe is. And a fuck nigga. We use these words to bring clarity to something that we disdain, don't respect. You don't respect a pussy hoe and a fuck nigga because their character is that of a savage, self-proclaimed now words that devalue us. That's been in motion for a long time. It ain't just started with these young people. These things been around for a while. And I think we need to remember when there was a time where there was value, not perfection, but value. Because grandma, granddaddy, mom and daddy, they still was learning. They still were mental and spiritual beings living this human experiences. And if we don't know what their backstory is, why would we judge them? I had to learn my dad's backstory, my mom, as much as I could talk to her before her untimely demise while I was in prison. Okay. I got 4 minutes here. And so, again, I vow to uphold wholesome family values to provide my offspring, which I wasn't able to do because I was in prison. So I wasn't there the way I needed to be. These things that I'm saying here, I want you to go back and listen to them and study it and look at it and say to yourself, where do you fit in this? Because that's what I was doing. This is the contract to myself. Want to be a provider in any way that I can. My children are adults now. My daughter just had a birthday on the 16th. My son got one coming up. He's incarcerated now. I can't do as much as I want to do for him, but I try to do what I can. But that's me saying in my mind, even though they're adults, they still my children. Always gonna love them. Always gonna want to see them better. But I want them to see me better. A better example, a better voice, somebody that's fighting for right instead of wrong now. Because they never got to know me like some people know me. And to the ones that knew me before my prison experience, a lot of them don't know me now. But you're going to get to know me. And to those that's getting to know me by coming and sharing and coming and commenting and coming to these platforms where I'm at or seeing me in the streets when I'm home or whatever we doing, I want you to know that I'm still me, but I'm a better version of that. And I'm steady growing because I'm going to always be a student in this classroom, learning to be better and using those foundational words as much as possible. Okay. And when I say to provide my offspring or any youth that may see or hear me with an example of what it means to be a doer of good deeds rather than a talker of them, I mean that a child don't have to be my flesh and blood. I see children in my heart just because they deserve better, and I know it. I see me in them, and I want them to be good. So I would want to be an example. And I'll give you a quick one. Like I said, I used this before. I could be in a store and see a young mother or a young brother with their children. I ask these kids, and it be doing my good heart, especially when I see the young brothers with their children, man. They do my heart good because I gave up an opportunity to be that with mine. You know, even though I spent some time, my son was 8 months when I was incarcerated. My daughter was 15 months old. So they don't really have no remembrance of the times I did hold them, but I do. And I had to live with that for 28 years of my life. Okay, but anyway, so when I see the youth, I try to, you know, let the little girls and boys know that if I see a young lady, if I'm able to, sometimes they might be in a Dollar Tree or something, or in a store I may be in, and I may have $5 or $10 now. If it's okay to give this, and now, hey, you make sure you listen to your mommy, you make sure you do good in school, and always respect yourself. I don't ask for no phone numbers from the sister because I see her struggling, she doing bad, so I can double back and try to tap that. Because some dudes do that. You want to help with conditions. No, sister, you ain't got to give me nothing. I know it's hard out here for you. It's hard for me. I wish I could do more for more people, and I will, and I am. But let's keep moving from right here and have a nice day. I ain't going out there trying to find her and hey. Spirit of truth moves you that way. So that's example. That leaves an imprint on the child's mind. You see them, you let them see you give in a moment to provide. And you use kind energy and right energy and strength energy, and that child can absorb that. And if they see more of that happening, they could know what to do and how to perform and build from there. This is what we're doing. I got to get ready to shut this down. We have 45 minutes and counting. I want to stay with up under that hour. So please go back and listen. I'm gonna come back with vow number 3. The next time we come, we probably do a light recap so I can dig just a little bit deep into that second vow, and then we'll go into the third until we get to the last. And we're gonna keep doing this right here in this space, the Circle of the Gods.6. I want to build this one up because this is the more serious site. My other site is serious as well, but it's where I do more entertainment things with the music and stuff like that. There are more conversations. I may have a few guests inside this space, but there are times when I'm gonna have to operate on my own, and I'm gonna need that space to do what the spirit need me to do without interruption, you know. But I will have some guests in this space because I think that's very important. I know men and women that have beautiful stories to tell about the transition in their lives from bad to good, and what that struggle means and what they went through. Because again, we're all going through things. So on that note, let me say to all, thank you for giving me your time. Please share this message. Please subscribe. It's free. Leave some comments. Let me know that you came through, even if it was for a minute, so that I can say thank you. And let's continue to build together, those that want to build, and to those that don't. It's just not your time yet. And hopefully you'll be able to find that time while you still have life on this side of the veil. But if you don't, it's your life. You're responsible for it. And whatever you get out of it is what you earn. So I leave you with these 3 things. Keep your head on a swivel because it's dangerous out here. Protect yourself at all times because you have a right to protect yourself. And last but not least, please use your own mind, because if you don't use your own mind, somebody else will. In fact, we live in a world where somebody else's mind is prevalent, and it moves us in ways that it helps them majority of the time. And we just pick up the little scraps from the master's table. Trinkets, you know what I'm saying? Promises, they give you a little position, whatever they're going to get you to make you think that they with you. But we know what's really happening. If you don't, continue to come, and I'll continue to break bread with the family. It's been love, y'all. It's been real. It's your favorite icon. We are the City Network.